Oh man, has that got a deep throaty sound.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. Alright, I snuck one in on you in a way. Okay, this is the XFLY 70mm Pro version of the F-35 from XFLY. Now, I did not buy this through the American distributor Banana Hobby. I bought this through AliExpress. And because at the time, they're the only ones who had the Pro version. XFLY came out with their 64 ducted fan one, and I got that from Banana Hobby, and y'all saw a couple of videos and unbox and build on it. Well, the build was exactly the same. I mean literally the same, other than it's a different motor, and so I didn't feel the need to do an unbox and build. Just refer to that because it went together exactly the same as this, just a different motor. Now you're saying, well, what happened to that? Where's your... I was going to upgrade that one to the 70. I actually was working on it. Had it all put together in the man cave. I'm 222 pounds. 222 pounds. This was the 64 was sitting on the floor. 222 pounds landed dead center here on the 64. Both wings shot out, broke the spar, broke both rudders, broke one elevator, made all three gear bend out and break the servos themselves. The nose cone jettisoned and the canopy had jettisoned. The only thing I've got left that's usable from the 64 is the canopy, the nose cone, and pretty much both the wings. Everything and the motor and the ESC were fine. The fuselage, the rudders, and the elevators, and the gear, and the servos for the gear, all were destroyed. It sacrificed itself to keep me from breaking a hip, basically. Just turned around too fast, and all my weight went to the center of that plane. And had some issues with some financing, working with Banana Hobby, and so I didn't, or getting some stuff from Banana Hobby, so I ended up not buying it from them. But they didn't have this one available yet, but I saw it on AliExpress. I'd never bought anything through AliExpress before. I was a little sketchy on it, but I really wanted this plane. And because it was the Pro, it already has the 70. I think it's got the, I'll put the description of the motor that's in the video, but it's got the 2000 kV, their 70 Pro XFLY motor in it. That just comes in it naturally. And so this is their Pro version, but they had it, and I will tell you, AliExpress, talk about a company that stays with you and keeps you updated on every step of the sale. They told me, okay, it's left the shipping facility, it's now at the local airport, it's now going through. I must have got 6 emails from them until it said, okay, now it's on a boat headed your way. And then when I got to America, it said, okay, now in America, they said, now it's in the American port. They said it's going through customs. It should be at your doorstep within this time frame. And if it's not in the time frame, we're going to give you a certain amount of a refund or whatever. And I was thoroughly, and they weren't just email. They weren't just, you know, stock emails generated by the computer. You could tell someone typed this out. Okay, and I was just very impressed with the customer service of AliExpress. Now, AliExpress is not like Temu. Temu's Temu and it's only one distributor. AliExpress is a combination of many vendors all in competition to sell on AliExpress. So they don't want to screw you over because they're in competition with their neighbor. I'll put a link to my purchase to this in the description of the video from AliExpress, but I will tell you, the prices, things change all the time. All the time. I mean, literally, I've had it change within the same evening watching stuff. So I can't guarantee the price, but I can tell you where I got it from. All right, well, anyways, enough of that talk about why I have this plane now. Let's get it up in the air. I got a 4000 HRB. I'm going to fly in my high rates. And I'm going to fly with the AS3X gyro turned off right now because I always like to fly my planes for the first time in no gyro, and that way I can get them all trimmed out and then turn the AS3X Plus on and just enjoy what that does, the magic it works on a plane. Got a KM model afterburner version 5. In this one? No, I'm sorry, I got a version 4 in this one. Right, left, up, down, right, left. All right, wind is out of the northeast there. So we're going to go down here to the west end of the field. I love the lights on this plane, on the wingtips. And of an evening, I took it out and did the driveway, did my range test. And you can really see the afterburner down the
timer reset.
The front exhaust. So can I get you to step back just a little bit, please? All right, right, left, right, left. High rates, 3.5 minutes. All right, manual mode. XFLY 70mm Pro. First time that I've seen anyone, I've seen several videos people put a 70 in it, but this is the first time that I've seen of the 70 Pro that comes this way from XFLY. So let's see how much difference it is in the 64.
Retracts tucked away. Time remaining 3 minutes.
Definitely needed some right aileron. All right.
3X mode.
Got the gyro turned on now. Man, I picked a bad day to Maiden this plane as far as the clouds. Oh man, has that got a deep throaty sound?
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Flying good now. Flying real good.
Gear is down. Ready to land the F-35.
Gear do take a while to come down. Love that afterburn, I can actually see it. Yeah, I'm liking that approach better. Not the best landing. But we got enough for one more takeoff.
1 minute.
All right. One more time. Just gonna leave the gear down. Good flying jet.
30 seconds.
Good flying jet.
silent like a 2.
All right.
Safe to pick up.
1 second left on a 3.5 minute timer. Let's take it back to the bench and we'll go over all the rates and everything I flew in. All right, before we proceed, I wanted to show you one thing. A nice thing about this F-35 is that the gear is raked forward like the real thing is, the real plane is. And with the gear down, she wants, on the CG, she wants to be slightly tail heavy, but with, look at how long it takes that gear to go up. Kind of like a worm drive in a way. Okay, but with the gear down or the gear up, she's perfectly level on the CG. CG on the plane is 45 millimeters back from the leading edge root, which actually is from right there where the wing first touches the fuse, which puts it, there's some little metal screws there where the wing goes in. Put your finger about finger pad in, or about ½ an inch in to the front of the wing from that screw. I got some glue drops there, and that's where she CGs. The wind is hitting her perfectly. CG's just perfectly right there. All right, put the gear back down.
The gear is down, ready to land the F-35.
How long it takes to come down. It is getting to be stupid windy, but that's what I got, and so that's what I got. Today's my day off, so I gotta deal with the wind as I got it. So 1 second left on a 4 minute timer, or a 3.5 minute timer, to show you where I have everything placed inside the plane. To get that CG, I've got the 4000. All right, you gotta tucked up underneath 4000 HR or 4000 Sokokin with an I think it's got 80C. Well, there's the end of the foam deck here. Okay, I can fit 2 fingers in before I touch width of my fingers in before I touch that battery. Okay, so basically that's about 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches back from that front foam bulkhead there. Okay, the plane comes with an XT90. So I got an adapter there on that. Okay, my receiver that I'm using is an a Spectrum AR637T upgraded to AS3X Plus. You've got your nav lights green and red in the appropriate side on the end of the wingtip. Of course, I got that afterburner in there. KM model, that's the version 4. Yes, version 4 KM model afterburner. And let me check the battery. Unfortunately, I have to unplug the KM model afterburner in order to check the battery. Okay, 45% left. So when I take it up again in just a little bit, we're going to reset my timer for 4 minutes. So simple, remember, 4,000, 4 minutes. All right, plug it back in. Let's go over our flying rates real quick. I love the way this, when that went by, that one scent, that way that had a deep throaty howl, it reminds me, as far as that deep throaty howl that I heard, it reminds me an awful lot of the FMS 80mm F86. That has kind of a throaty howl to it. All right, let's go over our rates. I just wish we had some clouds today and a little bit, not so much crazy wind. But that's what I get. All right, flew at my high rates the entire time. Ailerons are 70% with 30% expo. Elevator, 85% with 30% expo. And I feel like I need more. I'm going to increase that probably to 90. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. To 90 with 30% expo. Okay, and then my rudder, I just have that as, I do have rates on that. High rates, I had 85%, because you got 2 rudders there. 85 with 30% expo, and that's what I flew in. Obviously, I don't have flaps. Our forward programming, like I say, whenever I flew her in manual, she needed a lot of right aileron. That's all she needed to get her trimmed out. As you can actually see, that right aileron is up just a touch. So remember, it's the way you tell orientation on a plane. You say, well, right wing, left wing, all that. You go by the pilot's perspective, the pilot in the plane. So I'm looking at there, it's going to be my right. Okay, you go from the pilot's perspective. In case that helps you out when you're buying parts and stuff, look at everything from the pilot's perspective, the actual pilot in the plane. Okay, the gains. Gains were set at 30, 40, and 60 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Priority, all at 100 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Did anything with heading. Stop lock, all at 50 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Gains are at one-time gains. And I don't think I have... No, I don't have the nose wheel set up because I use that 6th channel for the thrust reversing that comes naturally in the plane. So you just have to have an open channel. I had to make a decision whether I was going to use thrust reverse or was I going to use the nose wheel gyro. And I didn't have, with a cross breeze like we've got today, I didn't have any problem with steering. So I'm going to leave it with the thrust reversing for that open channel since I don't have flaps. Now I could have gone in there and done Taylor-ons and all that, but she's flying fine the way she is, right, like this. Well, anyways, there you go. We're going to do another flight here in a little bit. That'll be an entirely separate video, but that was the maiden flight of the XFLY 70mm Pro. Remember, the gear take a while to go up and down, and bring her out on a day where you got some clouds, because as you can see, this light gray plane against this light blue sky, orientation could be a little bit of a booger. So you got a nice magnetic nose cone on the front. You've got a lot of plastic clad. You got lights. You got a lot of protection. XFLY, you've done an excellent job with this. I just think that if you knew you were going to offer this in a 70, you should have done that from the get-go instead of selling a bunch of the 64mm and then 3 months or 4 months later offer the 70. To me, that was a little, well, I have my own opinion on that. I think you should have went ahead and just did this anyways. But that's the 70, that's the way it came. And refer to my unbox and build of the 64 because it was the exact same process. I mean, exactly the same. The only difference, different motor. Everything else is exactly the same. All right, God bless you. Gabriel, thank you for filming. Folks, thank you for stopping by and see what this fat guy is all about. Stay tuned. I'm going to put the plane back on the field. I'm going to get some glamour shots and some nice pictures of the plane and include that as part of the video. All right, God bless y'all, and God bless, and we'll see you next time. Keep them in the air. Bye-bye. All right, this is the second battery for the Maiden sortie. Gabriel, if you would, show them the flags. Show them what we're dealing with. Directly across the runway, like I normally get. All right, this time I'm running a 4000 HRB with a 60C in the same exact spot. Let me check CG because the battery may weigh a little bit differently. I'm looking to be slightly tail heavy with the gear down, and it is, and with the gear up.
Retract tucked away.
All right, with the gear up, she's like perfectly level, and she is. Okay, gear take a while.
The gear is down, ready to land the F-35.
And like I was explaining in the video, the reason I went with this one and not get another 64 is because I wanted the 70. And I was in the process of doing it anyways, and AliExpress at the time was the only one that had the 70 Pro in stock. Right, left, up, down, right, left. I now have the aileron or the elevator set to 95 over 30% expo for my high rates. Nothing else has changed since we checked everything a while ago. Right, left, okay.
Motor hot and will burn you.
All right, wind is out of that way. So I'm going to go down here to the west end of the field. Go opposite. I'm going with the wind now. Actually, the way the wind is blowing. Turn around and take off into the wind. If at all possible, take off and land into the wind. All right, reset my timer. Oh yes, I need to set my timer for 4 minutes instead of 3.5. Let me do that real quick. Only takes a moment. Done. All right, 4 minutes, high rates, X-35 Pro, 70 Pro. All right, here we go.
Retracts tucked away.
Like I said before, man, I wish we had some clouds. About 3/4 throttle right here. Take it up. Good roll rate, drill bit. No dip in the nose or anything. All right. Check CG. Oh man, absolutely no.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Nothing needed. No elevator input needed to maintain inverted. Sorry. Oh yeah. Good flying jet. Man, has it got a good sound to it. Just wish we had some freaking clouds. Freaky clouds, man, these are freaky clouds. Probably in the way right now. She'll drop if you get too slow, but she drops straight. All right, let's a little bit of a stall here. All right, power off. What does she do? Power off, power off, power off. All right, she just starts sloping forward. All right, power off, power off. Up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator. Well, shoot, I made her climb.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
You're supposed to do that straight and level. Elevator, 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 elevator. All right, looks like left wing. I'm gonna go with left wing. I've crashed too many planes doing stall tests.
The gear is down. Ready to land the F-35.
All right, let's do a stall, do a gear pass here. I love the way this thing handles. Gear is down. A little slap and go there. Gear is still down.
1 minute.
Spunky little guy. All right, we still got 40 seconds. Let's take off one more time. Just one quick up and down. I'll leave the gear down.
20 seconds. Time to land the XFLY F-35.
Alright, go ahead and switch to your autofocus.
Motor silent like a tomb. Safe to pick up.
All right, we had 12 seconds left on a 4-minute timer. The only difference was I increased the rates of my aileron to 95 from the 80, I think it was 80 for high rates before. Other than that, exactly the same. Let's go over the battery. Like I said, I was 12 seconds over on a 4-minute timer. Didn't do the antenna mod on this one because this pops up pretty easy. Unplug that version 4K model afterburner. And Gabriel, if you'll come here, I want to show them the inside here. All right, 28% left after 4 minutes, over 4 minutes of flying. As you can see where I've got that 4,000, basically 2 finger lengths or widths in from the front foam bulkhead there, okay? And that's where she CGs just perfectly right there. Alrighty, nice tongue and groove, nice hatch, nice plane, flies good, looks good. The only drawback, if you want to call the drawback, is the fact that it's all gray plane and, you know, plain blue sky. Orientation will be a bit of a problem for you. Well, for some people, it may not. It can be for me too. I'm not don't have the youngest eyes like I used to have. And remember that the gear do take a while to go up and down. And just like the 64, they have a brace that's already installed in there. Is she blazingly fast? No. But this 70 is a little bit faster and has a little more punch than I feel than the 64, which makes sense. All metal gear, every part of the retracts are metal. Plenty of cooling on the ESC, and it's got a 80 amp ESC now instead of a 50 amp ESC with thrust reversing. Other than that, the motor, I'll put the specs of the motor in the description of the video because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But the physical body and the servos and the retracts are all exactly the same. It's just with a 70, you get an 80 amp ESC, and you get the 70 millimeter Pro version of their ducted fan, their XFLY ducted fan. Other than that, it's exactly the same plane, same lights and everything, same dimensions. She did need a little bit of right aileron. Okay, so maybe 2 millimeters up or 3 millimeters up of right aileron. And whenever you put her together, make sure that the neutral point of your elevator is a slightly up elevator, maybe like 2 millimeters or 3 millimeters up elevator, to where the top of this elevator lines up with the top or the leading edge or the trailing edge of your wing there. Okay, they just basically the pointer end of the elevator is pointing right at the trailing edge of the back of that wing there. So, all right, well there you go. That's the XFLY. Pro version 70, sent to me by AliExpress. Well, I purchased from AliExpress, and first time I've ever purchased from anything from AliExpress. And I'm telling you right now, the way they talked to me and communicated with me and kept me informed every step of the way, it took about a week and a half longer than what it would have took from getting it from Banana Hobby. But at the time, Banana Hobby didn't have this one, so I wanted it and I got it, and that's just the way it is. All right, God bless y'all. Gabriel, thank you for filming. Viewers, thank you for tuning in. And this is the conclusion of the 2-part maiden flight of the 70 Pro XFLY F-35. And as far as I can tell, the first time of the 70 the way stock in the United States. All right, y'all have a good one. God bless you. Bye-bye.